Greetings from the Galaxy far away. This is the Legacy of Star Wars podcast, brought to you by Fandom Empire. I am your host, Johnny, and it's truly a pleasure to be here with you wherever you are listening from. It's a Tuesday night, and usually you know what that means, but it doesn't mean that this week because it's been a pretty quiet week news-wise. So we don't have a huge, massive drop of news to talk about that happened on this lovely Tuesday. So we just have the generic stuff that we've been planning for the last 24 hours, which if you've been with this podcast since we started just before the new year, you'll know that that's never happened. We've usually pretty much had to throw out our show notes at the beginning of the night, unless we're doing one of our watch-along episodes, in which case we're usually pretty good for those, or we just sort of kick the news back to the following week. But it's a Tuesday night, and we don't have a lot of news. So let's get down to what news we do have, because, well, there wasn't a lot of news. We did get a trailer yesterday, and obviously you can see it on the screen there on the far side. So we'll be talking about that. Obviously, we've also 25 years, Phantom Menace, so we're going to talk about that. And this week's game of the week, conveniently enough, the Phantom Menace. Did we plan this? I don't know. But of course, joining me, as always, are my usual colleagues and co-host. Sean, how you doing tonight?
Would be better if my mouse wasn't still broken. Fuck. Ah. Harness some of that Tommy B energy he had in the pre-show.
Speak into the microphone.
Anyways, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Didn't get too much of a chance to promote this show. Things have been crazy right now. I thought we were just going to be doing a kind of a low-key Phantom Menace, and maybe I had a couple of lore things planned that we won't be doing tonight now. So that'll probably get held off till next week. But then I think the big thing is, instead of Tuesday, it dropped Monday, is even though I'm not a Bad Batch fan, a new Star Wars trailer for a TV show, animated show, is a pretty big deal. And I watched it, and I thought it was decent. I didn't understand about 2/3 of what was going on. But I thought it was decent. I enjoyed it, and I will not be watching.
If you want to see his full live reaction to that, head back to the channel and watch the live reaction video where Sean spent the time watching the trailer and did a live reaction video of it. So if you're not watching us live, hit the pause button, go watch that, and then come on back. If you are watching us live, well, then that might be your autoplay at the end of the show. If not, head to the profile and watch it then.
Why don't you just do the show notes? Because I didn't even think about mentioning that with what I've had going on today, and you pull it up anyway.
That's what a good host does. Randy, how you doing tonight?
I'm not doing too bad. It's been a long week already, but this is one of the highlights of my week every week, really. So I'm excited to see what we get into. Obviously, with the trailer dropping, it's pretty exciting since I actually do enjoy Bad Batch. And it's still hard to believe that 25 years of the Phantom Menace. That's really hard to think about, considering I remember watching that in the theater when it first dropped. So it makes me feel really old.
It's definitely hard to believe. Of course, obviously, you'll notice that while usually we're a threesome, tonight we're a foursome. Tommy, how you doing? Those are golf terms, guys. Come on, get your minds out of the gutter.
I feel so violated.
So the lights come on and Tommy goes away? Because like in the pre-show, we had a Tommy that was full of fire and vigor and was excited.
Hey, look here.
And the studio lights go on and the red button says live, and all of
the Bad Batch is a fantastic follow-up.
I'll tell you right now. Pre-show
I'm
Tommy,
really enjoying it.
Pre-show Tommy, prequel era's Yoda. Live show Tommy, original trequel era Yoda.
Trequel? What's
Yes,
a trequel? I don't know what a trequel is. What's a trequel?
I think
is that a new Pokemon?
The Red Bull wore off.
You playing that Power World with all them new Pokemon?
Yes, I am, as a matter of fact, playing that Power World with all of them knockoff mons.
Giving them Pokemon guns, shooting each other up.
They do, in fact,
Pop
do
a cap
that,
in
and I
each
love
other.
it.
Yeah.
It's quite fun.
Instead of 5-hour energy, Tommy took 5-minute energy.
That sounds about right. Now, obviously, before we get into the main meat and potatoes of our show, we've got the usual housekeeping we have to do. And that is, of course, if you're liking the show, if you're enjoying the content, hit down below, click the like button, give us that thumbs up, click the subscribe button, click that bell, and leave a comment to help us defeat the evil algorithm. And, of course, head back to the main profile and watch all our other stuff. Like I said, Sean did a live reaction for the Bad Batch trailer. And, of course, tonight in Haddonfield, double this week?
Yes, double.
Double this week. So there
Halloween
you go. 2
Return
episodes.
script review, part 1 anyway, was on Monday. And then today we talked about the rumor that's out there that Jimmy Champagne put out there that it sounds like we're going to get a movie before the TV series, which logically actually makes sense.
So lots of fun stuff.
So you actually get people to watch the series?
Well,
Right. Star Wars. Take a lesson here, please. I'm serious. Like, we have so many and I don't want to get off on a long tangent here, but like, look, it's really easy for people to say everything's sunshine and fucking rainbows when it's not. And we're living it weekly here. It's frustrating when people just think that everything is going to be gravy. This is a franchise that needs a home run. So whatever this movie ends up being, Mandalorian and Grogu, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda, whoever, right? Whatever movie gets delayed and another one gets put into its spot, it has to be a hit with general audiences. You cannot say, go watch 3 seasons of this TV series in order to see the movie.
Probably not your best idea. And of course, if you're enjoying the content and want to contribute at another level, head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/Fandom Empire, and you can contribute at whatever tier you decide to and get exclusive content over there. All right, guys. Like we said, not a whole lot of news this week, but obviously we got the Bad Batch trailer. So, dropped yesterday. That was a really weird shot there for a second.
Whoops.
I'm looking at the screen and I'm like, oh my God, that is horrible. Why are you doing this? All right, here we go. So how are we going to do this? Are we going to bit by bit break it down as we go? Or...
Yeah, I'm going to play it at about 20 to 30 second intervals. And Randy and Tommy, Johnny and I are going to sit back. If Johnny and I have questions, maybe we'll interject. But walk us through maybe what you guys think is happening here. Again, we'll play 30 seconds, we'll stop, and we can just dissect what you guys think you see. Because honestly, there's a lot here that I don't know where we're at, what's going on, who the parties are, and how we got to that spot. So this will be a little bit of a learning lesson for everybody. So here we go. No audio, by the way, or else we'll get taken down.
Cue it up on a side panel if you want to watch along with us.
We don't want to get sued. Sued! We're waiting.
Love those technical hiccups because clearly you can see the arms flailing around because I'm guessing somebody in the actual room is talking to you as we're doing this. So it's like, oh, this is
someone needs
fun. So are you good? Are you
Tommy
ready?
just told you to go fuck yourself.
I didn't say that.
I'll remind you.
Eyes. He said it with his eyes.
What?
Oh hold on, you can see Tommy's eyes? Wait a minute. What?
You can see my eyes when yours are closed.
What?
I'm more behind the glasses.
Illuminati shit?
Are we sure that's tea you've been drinking, Tommy?
I know, right?
That's a water bottle.
At least we have closed captioning.
Boom! Out of the sky.
I said, sorry, I had to pause it here. I said during my trailer reaction, for those that didn't watch it, which is probably most of you, shame on you.
Wait. Let me take a guess. Who Is that what you said?
Well, yes, but not in terms of the character. But now that I actually have it paused, which is the first time I've done that, I'm pretty convinced my guess in the trailer reaction is right. And I was like, wait, is that Wanda Sykes? And I'm guessing this is in fact Wanda Sykes. Kind of resembles her too.
Well, my response is who? So one of us had that.
Might be. I don't know.
Who
It
is
does
this,
look a bit like her, though. I'll say that. I'll agree
who
with
is
you
this
there.
as a character? Anybody know?
She appears during last season in a few, and yes, it is Wanda Sykes. In a few episodes, when they're trying to figure out what comes next for the next chapter of their life, they spend some time on. This is a spoiler alert. Now that I think a whole lot of folks are coming here and not expect spoilers, they end up on an island planet of sorts, like a safe haven. They hang out there for a few episodes before they end up leaving. And if I remember correctly, Randy maybe can correct me if I'm wrong if he remembers more. I think they decide to leave the island for a while to go try to rescue Crosshair, a member of the Bad Batch who deserts at the beginning of season 1, but begins the process of defecting during season 2. Does that sound all check out with you, Randy?
Sounds about right. But also, if memory serves me correctly, Omega hung out with this character a little bit too.
She did.
Because I think they were doing some treasure hunting.
Yeah, treasure hunting, more like pirating, I think. But no, that's not quite accurate. Treasure hunting, yeah.
Kenny says he loves the Bad Batch trailer.
The Bad Batch is great.
Let's
We've gone from excited Tommy to angry Tommy. We're just going through the 5 stages.
He gonna fall. Wondering if Rex is gonna be a bigger part of this season than he has in the past so far.
Okay. Walk us through this. I'm pretty sure I know what this is, but walk us through this.
So, Randy, why don't you take over? I talked a lot already.
So during season 2, obviously one of the Bad Batch died, but he died saving everybody, and obviously that's what they're reliving here. Is just kind of even a little flashback of watching him fall to his death as basically like Omega and Wrecker and Hunter and all that, and they were all just kind of despondent during this. Obviously, it caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it, but I guess it was only a matter of time. Somebody was going to bite it in the series because we all know they don't all survive that we're aware of. So
they could have. They honestly could have. I mean, someone would probably call it a weak move, but
because surviving from Great Falls is such a hard thing to do in Star Wars, apparently.
They could go and walk off in the sunset, and it wouldn't be a galaxy impacting event. But who knows, right?
I mean, if Mace Windu returns, then then I guess there's always a possibility.
And it's all over. Everyone. I mean, don't forget, somehow Palpatine returned, right? So
far, this is not making me want to watch the show.
Yeah, this is just a flashback, is what it is.
I was expecting the Filoni meme to pop up.
This was like the finale of season 2.
Right. You know what? That's perfect. So hang on. Are you saying there's a chance that this fella's still alive?
Why the hell not?
Me personally, I don't think so. Just because. But I mean, I guess it's
there's
always
a chance.
possible.
More likely than not, no.
So Johnny's right. It said it somehow. Sorry, who is it again? Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Make a new version of that meme. Somehow Tech survived.
We're gonna need one for
Tell you what, though, good thing these guys got Echo, or otherwise they'd be screwed. They wouldn't know how to turn on a light bulb.
So when did they capture Omega or Omega?
Few episodes before the end of season 2. Does that sound right to you, Randy?
I think it was like one of the last couple episodes of season 2. Like literally right after Tech died. That's when they ended up capturing her. If
Do
memory
we-
serves me
do
correctly.
we
It's
know
been a
why
while since I
they
watched.
want her?
They never really get into it, but spoiler
Of
alert,
course they don't.
one of the doctors is technically her adult clone.
I believe she uses the term sister. You're going to get a picture or an image of her in a moment in the trailer. So that's Crosshair.
Republic Commando. Gotta love that. Come on. Whenever you see that, you guys gotta pop. Am I the only one?
It's been a while since I played that.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, it's there.
So that was her with the red glasses.
So where are they right now? Mount Tantus?
Yes. Well, that's where we're led to believe they are, because that's where.
So it's 100,000% cloning related then.
Yes. I'm a little conflicted on this, to be honest with you. I'm not entirely convinced they needed to bring Palpatine into this. Why?
To get me to watch an episode of the show.
Okay. Well,
I think the reason behind this is because as much as Palpatine hates the clones, the technology itself, he's probably here to make sure that they secure it so that he can obviously use it in the future.
I mean, we know he either already has plans for or has already started his, keep himself alive cloning plan.
I just really hope he is not like a mainstay character for this season, because what are we going to see? Are we going to watch them shooting at Palpatine and he's just supposed to run away from that? Come on.
I highly doubt that he's going to be the main focus in terms of the big bad. It's probably going to be him on the side, like you always see him in the background doing his usual thing.
Could be good exposition to explain his cloning program of himself and why he wants the tech.
Tommy just doesn't want me to watch the show, clearly. Why give us more Palpatine? Why dive into his mindset of why he wants to live forever, but why dive into, any of the technology behind it?
They're not going to give us a deep dive into his mindset. I mean,
well, and the fact that he's voiced by Nina McDiarmid, I mean, that's all I would need for any type of Palpatine.
Is he?
Yeah, he's voicing him.
Has Ian McDiarmid ever not done him?
Sam Witwer's done him before. I think
yeah, you're right.
But like since Rebels season 4, Palpatine has been done by McDiarmid.
McCrimmid. Oh, you're right. Poor Randy. He's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? It's
the hell did I just walk into?
He had to have been very confused during Empire when we kept making the Gary Kirshner jokes. And
oh man, maybe Tommy will join us for Jedi. That would require him to stay up late though in order to see that. By the way, Return of the Jedi is more than likely probably not next week's show, but the week after. It's February already.
Let's not think about that, all right?
There's a scary thought, people.
It's the short months early, so it's not that surprising.
Well, and it's a leap year, so it's actually a longer month.
Well, February is, but I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There's 31 days in January.
Yeah, but the sun's hardly up, so it just seems shorter.
You're not wrong.
Let me tell you, as someone who's out there when the sun's not up, screw you.
I'm sorry you live on Hoth, okay?
It's been pretty hothy the last few days.
Yeah. Yeah. So Cad Bane has previously appeared in the show, if you were not aware of that already.
Was that what's her face?
Yeah, definitely. I know where
you
you're
mean Fennec Shan?
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
She has also appeared in the show.
So she helped Omega one episode.
So Fennec can appear and not Sheev, huh, Tommy? Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tanwi.
Okay, not to say much, but that shot of Omega in the cockpit there that we saw, I swear to God, looked like an episode of Thunderbirds.
Oh my god, now that's a throwback.
I'm just glad you understood it. I'll admit, I'm glad I did not watch this with the subtitles on, because seeing the name would have taken away the whole, like, wait, is that actually? That I got to go through. Of course,
All
I
right,
didn't.
Unfortunately, I did not get to do that. I first saw that a trailer came out in the middle of work, and I said, I'll just watch it another time, or it's going to be good. I'll enjoy it, but I'll catch it later. It wasn't until after I got home and I saw about Asajj Ventress, something about it, that I'm like, oh, crap. And then I just watched it. And then Sean messaged me about a minute later. So, yeah, it was... It's surprising, and the way that they're presenting her with having hair, having a yellow lightsaber, it is
Wow, that
all
is
appro-
awkward now that I didn't notice the hair until you just said it. Now I can't not see it.
it's all appropriate for Dark Disciple, post Dark Disciple. But
Except for the
you
whole
know,
being alive thing.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
yeah, kind of important.
but
right?
as I said, I think we were live already. Christy Golden has made, the author of Dark Disciple has made a post. She has commented that they are honoring the story. So I'm assuming we're going to see something like probably in the realm of Night Sister resurrection magic. Because the way she dies, I mean, it's not like she falls down a platform or something and, oh no, she died. Everybody liked her, except they really didn't. It's not like that. We know how she dies, and it's...
I mean, we knew how Darth Maul died until we didn't.
Yeah, well...
It's true.
We knew how Palpatine died until we didn't.
I guess my question here is, I'm not sure where Bad Batch falls on the timeline, but is it not distinctly possible that Bad Batch simply happens before that novel?
No, it is not. Dark Disciple happens during the Clone Wars.
I thought Dark Disciple happened after Order 66.
No. Dark Disciple happens before Order 66. Not by much, but Obi-Wan is actually there at the end of Dark Disciple with Quinlan Voss.
Hmm.
I don't remember how much, but it is not much. It is the end of the Clone Wars.
I gotta tell you, Night Sister magic or not, I don't like it. Just being honest, I like
Hater!
it's a path.
Per the crawl for Dark Disciple, it is during the Clone Wars.
Okay, yeah, I just don't like it. I thought the character had a fitting ending. You know, the relationship with Quinlan, that's a story all on itself. Light side Jedi with dark side tendencies, falls for essentially dark Jedi trying to become a Sith. Obviously she's not that when they encounter one another. But I don't know. I just, there's no Dragon Balls here. I don't want to keep seeing people who are dead consistently come back to life. I know that the Night Sisters are involved, but man, like with the Jedi, I get it. There's Force ghosts, but
I am going to admit that I'm going to have a problem if this is a sustained thing, because as much as I like her character, and her character, even gets a lot more in Dark Disciple, the relationship they forged between the relationship they put between her and Quinlan, and given the fact that we know he's alive, it feels kind of odd. So I would really have some issues if she was to walk away from this and this wasn't like a one-time thing.
Just to
Like
further what Tommy was saying, we also have Brad Rao, one of the directors for the Bad Batch, who said, "We don't want to spoil anything, but want fans to know that any new storytelling with Ventress will align with the events of Dark Disciple."
Yeah, but that still leaves room for the resurrection through the Night Sisters, right? Like it happened.
The book's sort of ambiguous in that sense, like that it is plausible.
The book was not ambiguous whatsoever.
Not in this. I mean, in the sense of what came next. Like from reading, this is just me. I haven't actually read the book, but the Wookiee entry for the book does sort of paint a picture of them laying her to rest in a pool at a Night Sister village that changes color, and you hear the voices of Night Sisters welcoming her to the afterlife. Like that's the picture it's painted in the Wookiee. I mean, you look kind of confused at that.
No, I'm just thinking. I don't remember her being cremated or anything like that.
It's
they do return to Dathomir, and she is laid to rest there, I believe. So that's probably what happened.
Yeah, I got to give Jason from Making Star Wars his props, even though he's kind of indirectly right on this one. Is when the Ahsoka series was out, he immediately said, they're bringing all the dead back to Dathomir and they're going to resurrect them that are on Thrawn's ship. And he said, when that happens, they're going to end up resurrecting Ventress. Tommy, I'm betting you, if this is not some sort of dream or vision or whatever.
I think they're laying the canon explanation for what the plan is, telling us this now without telling us this now.
Yeah, I'm giving us a preview of things to come.
Yeah, like the last paragraph here of the Wookiee. Together, the two Jedi, Voss and Obi-Wan, lay the Night Sister to rest in a dark pool near the abandoned Night Sisters village. As Ventress's body enters the water, the pool turns green, and the voices of the spirits of the deceased Night Sisters are heard, welcoming Ventress back.
Yeah, I mean, the Night Sisters are capable of resurrecting anybody, basically. So, like, I get it, it's there. I just don't want to keep going back to this bank. Like, they're already leaning in with Hayden in terms of, like, the Force Ghost stuff, and that's apparently going to continue to happen. I just, give me the Acolyte already. I want new characters. Let's see us get attached to some new characters.
You had new characters in the Bad Batch. You just weren't interested in them.
Were they, though?
I mean,
they were just defective
That's
clones.
That's a half jab. That's a half jab.
Can we just kind of like see what Filoni has in store for us instead of just picking this all apart? I mean, shit.
I'm sorry. Are you new here?
Hey, after what happened with Ahsoka and what I've seen Filoni put out, I'm willing to just go on a little faith here.
Ken, are you new here?
I just want to see them be able to not like, can they not? It's frustrating. I want to see new characters, but the Bad Batch works for people. My oldest guy likes it. He, like you guys, has watched all the episodes, and it just, I don't know. I don't want
them to keep adding to the list of things I need to watch to continue to stay relevant with the new stuff.
I also, I would add in the caveat that Star Wars literature in the past has gotten shafted, and that wasn't supposed to happen in new canon. It's already happened. Like, this wouldn't be the first example of it. And like, hey, we're not the ones that went out in front of everybody and said everything is canon, everything counts. I said it was a fucking god awful idea from the very beginning, and that you were going to burn people. And that's what happens. I like Ventress as a character. I like her a lot. I don't know the voice actress's name, but she's fucking fantastic. So more Ventress, cool, but let's let some characters stay dead once they're dead. Like Han Solo got to come back. Fuck, like I get it, different circumstances, but.
Hey, Randy, here's a question for you to consider.
Okay.
If they're bringing her in a trailer for this season, this early on, do you think it's safe to say that she's going to play more than a one-off role toward the end of the season?
I mean, it's always possible. Unfortunately, it's also a possibility that she plays a big enough role, though, that we see Palpatine finish her off. It's where they bring her back just to die because
That's
she has to
kind of
make
what I'm wondering.
make some sort of sacrifice or something. I don't know.
If she's appearing, could one even reason? Hey, maybe Quinlan Voss will make an appearance in this, and they're saving him for later. But then you might say, well, if they were going to put anyone in the trailer, they would have put a character like him because I feel like folks know Ventress more than they know Quinlan Voss.
I think this is also sort of a way to get Asajj off the playing field for the Ahsoka stuff.
Yeah.
Because if they're going to go, like Sean said, I can't remember the name of whoever you quoted saying that, this was going to bring Asajj back from the dead with waking up all these Night Sisters. Bringing her back before that takes her off the playing field if she doesn't end up back on Dathomir, right? So it sort of takes her off the playing field for that event, which I think is a smart decision because you can't really add her to this playing field, I don't think. I mean, I guess you could because she would be a good opponent for Ahsoka herself with their history, but
I don't know. I can tell Randy and I are on different sides of the fence with this topic, but for fuck's sakes, people, I'm telling you, if they bring her back to be like, oh yeah, here she is, and we literally did resurrect her, pardon me, and guess what? 2 episodes later, she's dead again. Like, could you spit in the face of a fucking author any more than that?
2 episodes. I don't know, Sean. That might be generous.
Oh, geez, Tom. No, if you're going to resurrect a character like this, you fucking do it with the intent, hey, Kenobi name drops Quinlan Voss halfway between Sith and A New Hope, and those two, obviously Quinlan can't hold his hand up. Hey, I'm over here. But give us that live action series.
Yeah.
Give us Quinlan and Ventress. If you're going to resurrect her, do it with some fucking purpose, not just for the sake of doing it.
But what if that is the purpose?
Then great, I'm on board. But if it's the killer in 2 episodes, fuck them.
I'm having a little bit of a hard time
until this comes out. Until it comes out and we actually see what she does, it's just speculation at this point. So it's great to sit there and be like, you know what, we would love to see a live action Asajj Ventress. That would be really cool. But also on the other side of things, it's like how much more can this character give to Star Wars? How much more can we do with her given her entire story arc through Clone Wars, what we got in Dark Disciple, and now you're going to have this. I mean, it's quite the character arc that's really, there's not much more she can do.
I swear, and Randy, you and I haven't been doing this for too long, so please don't take this as being towards you. But when you say that sentence, the first thing that comes to my mind is, then leave her fucking dead. Like, that's the first thing that comes. Johnny, where do you fall on this, man? I know you and I sat side by side for all 5 movies,
yep.
All 5. Yeah, it's like. So we've been through the new Star Wars Disney era together. Some good, some not good. I just don't like bringing back a character for no reason. And not to say that there wouldn't be for an episode or two. Just it's not like Anakin popping up in Ahsoka. You know what I mean? Unless it is, and it's like again, I'm working on the if she's actually been resurrected.
To me, it's the tell me the story. I didn't, like I said, I haven't read Dark Disciple, so I'm not so, invested in that story that you can't work around it for me, because you can, because I don't know that story. So Asajj to me is the character you see in the Clone Wars. So having her in this environment is sort of, it walks on those toes of Filoni's full plan, and how important is Ahsoka? Excuse me, not Ahsoka. How important it was Asajj to his, original plans for these things. So, I assume that based on the fact that, if I'm not wrong, isn't Dark Disciple based on 4 canceled scripts from the Clone Wars? That was worked up into that novel? I thought I saw that in the Wookiee. I assumed you guys would actually know that if
I
it was.
don't remember.
So, I mean, if that's the case, then obviously Filoni was sort of in on at least the overarching plan for those episodes enough to know that he understands the plot, he understands where everything is going. So he does, he's not someone who just, he's not J.J. Abrams and somehow Palpatine survived, So I think my faith isn't so much in Disney as it is in Filoni himself to be a competent storyteller, to have that overarching plan that, don't worry, there is something more than this coming. And whether that's, even if it is just an appearance in 1 or 2 episodes that does end in her death, it still opens the door for, a book to come in and fill in that gap. So you can still have that her and Quinlan story, or even in live action, if that's a direction that they choose, because of the timing of this, because she died during the Clone Wars. And now here we are past that. I don't know how long, I don't know the time frame in which this series is playing in. So, presumably there is a length of time from which, if she went directly into the pool and was resurrected shortly thereafter, there's a lot of time in between that, you could play out in a book or another animated series or a live action series, or however they wanted to go, if that's the route they choose to take to fill in that gap and tell that story.
Money, 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 money. Whenever there's
Exactly.
a chance to make more of it, right? That's why it's like, to me, you don't bring her back just to kill her. But let's hand it back to the experts, the people that have actually watched every single episode of this series. This is the final season. It's not just the 3rd season. A lot of people thought that they were only going to get 2 seasons and it'd get in the 3rd season. Is it shortened in episodes, guys, to the last 2? I don't know if
Don't know.
I don't remember if they were going to go for like a full season like they did before.
First
Obviously,
couple, what, like 20?
I think so. Usually they were, and they released it once a week, like always. But I will say that
15 episodes.
You had to have a season 3 just because of where they left season 2 off on. There was just too much up in the air that they needed to finish, and that would have pissed a lot of people off if they had left it at that.
So what are your guys' realistic hopes and expectations out of the final season? Like what is a satisfying conclusion to this story for you guys?
At least Omega survives.
Obviously, well, for me, I think it's finding out Omega's purpose in all this, because there's something about her that the Empire wanted to capture her back. For some reason, they wanted to have her back. So is it because of similar things like with Grogu in The Mandalorian, the 1st season, or is it something different? So I'm really curious to see where they go. That's one of the things I want answered in season 3, is what makes Omega so special, other than the fact that she's essentially Boba's sister. But also, obviously we know Rex survives. But I'm curious to see if any of the Bad Batch themselves survive. If anything, I would love to see Hunter kind of make it through. But other than that, I'm kind of like thinking it's going to end on a downer, and that they're all going to sacrifice themselves for her.
Agreed. Agreed. I've been thinking about that like long before Tech died. Like when I started getting invested in this show, it's like, so what's the end game for these characters? How are they going to get out of this one? Like, they brought him in for an arc of the Clone Wars. They announced this show shortly after. Was it shortly after that season? I don't remember when. But I was one of the people calling it. It's a show nobody asked for. And then I actually saw the first few episodes, and it's like, wow, that was great. Looking forward to seeing some more. It's like, but that there's some danger in that. I think those of us who've become fans of these characters we're going to get crushed a little more because the death of Tech was a little bit crushing. But he went in a good way.
Yeah, he had a hero's death essentially. I feel like Crosshair is going to probably sacrifice himself for his Bad Batch brethren, and that'll probably be an emotional send off for him. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go with this since it's the final season. We don't know because we haven't seen anybody in the canon since, so we know that we don't know if they're dead. We don't know if they're alive. I mean, we know, like I said, we know Rex survived, so we know that it's possible for clones to get on in years and survive a nice long life, depending on what they decide to do.
One thing I don't think we've seen in canon is something to stop the advanced aging process. I don't think that's a thing in current canon. So even though they're aging at double the rate, it's
and Boba and Echo are both not Echo, but Boba and Omega are both unaltered. So
yeah, they are not aging at double the rate.
And maybe that's part of what they're trying to do. I don't know. Maybe there's a key in Omega in terms of the cloning process that they need, and that's the reason behind her capture. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to watch.
Here's my ending. Okay, I'm going to pitch it to you, and then I'll get to Travis's comments. You
haven't even seen the show.
Who needs to see the rest? I'm going to pitch you the ending that's going to make me watch the finale. Okay, you mentioned the possibility of the Bad Batch sacrificing themselves for Omega. So what if the person going after Omega to get her back, because Papa Pelps is so desperate, is Vader? What if Vader, because I believe they've kept him out of this series completely to this point, what if Vader is the big bad at the end of the series that cuts down the Bad Batch? And I'll take it one step further, piggybacking off of Travis's idea. He mentions, I could see an ending where Asajj Ventress takes an Omega, treating her as a sister, or maybe Cut, the deserting clone, takes her in as part of the family. The Bad Batch sacrifice themselves to Vader. Vader gets a win. Everybody loves to see Vader, so people are going to pop for that episode. Do what Rogue One should have did with the good characters. Let Vader kill them.
Well, I mean, we've always seen that if Palpatine gets pissed off enough, Vader's always sent in to clean up everything. So that's not a bad, bad way to go.
Possibilities.
Yeah,
that's right, Tommy. Suck it.
I think if we were going to get Vader, they would have been a tease it in the trailer. But that's just
maybe.
No, you don't tease it. You don't put it in a trailer. You don't.
They never teased Vader in Rebels.
We got the Vader breathing at the end of one of the trailers.
But I'm talking. That was like what the end of near the end of one of the seasons, or the beginning.
Vader. So Vader started season 2. Vader started in season 2.
Wasn't it the mid-season 2 trailer that ended with Vader breathing?
I think it was the last episode of season 1.
No.
Yeah,
he gets off the shuttle,
and they didn't even hint at him being in the series or nothing. All of a sudden he just showed up.
And then they just go one step further. It shows Vader cornering Omega, and it cuts to black, and you just don't know what happened. That could be curious. Did he strike her down as a way to, foil Palpatine's plan? Because we both know they're not exactly on the same page.
I'm sorry, this is a Dave Filoni show, not a David Shore show.
Hey, George Lucas.
I think you're looking at the wrong demographic, Sean.
Lucas did Order 66, people. Just remember that.
I don't think Disney is going to sit at the pitch table and be like, so in the final episode, Darth Vader's going to kill a child.
No, let's be honest. It wouldn't be.
Didn't he do that in Obi-Wan?
yeah, actually. Poor kid walking through the town. Oh.
So don't say Disney won't do it.
The fan base has become invested in. I don't think Disney's going to sit at that table and be like, no,
she's getting away.
Yeah.
We're going to get a her and Grogu show.
Oh, God.
The Omega and Grogu, a Star Wars story.
Yeah. Ship them.
I'm gonna have laryngitis for that movie.
Omega.
I mean, if you think about it, if she does survive, she's gonna be Boba's age. So, see, that's what I was always curious about, is if Boba even knew of her existence, or if she knew of his existence and decided to go hunting for him. See, that'd be something I'd be kind of curious about, like them actually getting back together and having some adventures of their own.
Getting back together, Randy.
Excuse me?
That's her sister, man. That's his sister, man.
Like we've never seen that before.
Right, Luke. Jamie, Cersei.
I mean, we saw that last week. It's like, dude, you're kissing your sister.
This is a Disney Plus series, not an HBO Max series.
Times are a changing.
Oh,
Not that far.
anyway, that is going to do it for our discussion on the Bad Batch Season 3, which I believe debuts February the 21st and ends May the 1st, right before May the 4th. So that's interesting. I hope it turns out well for everybody. I want everybody to love it. I want everybody to leave there being happy with the content that they got. And hey, if the Vader thing ends up happening at the end, I'll be watching that episode, no doubt. I'm kind of curious what happens with the Mount Tantus stuff too, for sure. If there's any Thrawn connection to it.
What if they just level it? Then what?
I mean, that'd be a pretty big place to level. You see the size of that place? It's a freaking fortress.
Yeah. True.
Maybe they blow the planet up. I don't know. Who knows?
It's just a small-scale test of their new super weapon called the Death Star. Have you heard of it?
Let's get Tommy B. They did that. That was Rogue One and Jeddah. Let's get Tommy B.
That was a
out here.
large-scale test.
Dude, thanks for coming on. It's been a while since we chatted. I never thought the next time we would have you on the Star Wars show. I mean, I know the last time was trivia, but I never thought it would be to discuss the Bad Batch. It's, for a lot of people, it's premiering earlier than they thought, which kind of makes me wonder if we're going to get the Acolyte a little later than May now. We'll see, because essentially, if this is running till May the 1st, could I conceivably see Acolyte coming out later in May? Maybe, but I could also see it being pushed to August.
Did they just drop the release date for the premiere like yesterday when the trailer came out, or was it out already?
No, it's in the trailer.
But is that when they announced it?
I hadn't heard it before, so I'm going to say yes.
Me neither. I did not know this was coming out so soon.
I think they're showing the first 3 episodes too.
They are, yes.
So, just like, and you said there's 15, so yeah, that would make sense. 3 months. Anyway, Tommy, thanks for coming out, man. Where can everybody find you at? What do you got going on these days, buddy?
Work. I mean, I hope to be on more often whenever schedule allows, but that's about it right now. You can find me around my socials per usual.
All right, bud. Well, thanks for coming out, and I hope you enjoy the Bad Batch Season 3, and I'll be thankful when there's a new Star Wars animated show that isn't this one. I want to see them do more Tales of the Jedi, more Star Wars Vision, stuff like
Did they announce a season 2 of Tales of the Jedi? I thought they did. Okay.
This year.
Okay, cool.
My guess is much later in the year, though, if Bad Batch is dropping now. So,
all right. Good night, everybody.
Take it easy, buddy.
Good night, dude.
There you have it, Mr. B, Johnny, Mr. Tommy B. I don't know if you guys heard, but I did this little thing the other night. And so we have Star Wars Episode 1, the Phantom Menace video game. And I didn't intend to play for 2 hours, but I did. Made it to Gungan City. I think I'm almost done that map too. There were times during that where I could not find my way around the map for the life of me. And I forgot that you cannot manipulate the camera angle in this game. which drove me up the fucking wall, not being able to see things ahead of time or peek around corners or anything like that. So, the Phantom Menace video game now available on, is it just PlayStation, Johnny?
Yes.
Okay. So no Xbox for that. Wow.
It never was before, so I'm not surprised.
All right. Well, there you have that. Definitely check it out. Randy, you going to be picking it up, man?
Oh, I'm sure I will at some point, without a shadow of a doubt. Just because usually I try to grab all the classics, especially when they go on sale.
How about you, Johnny? Nah, not worth the $7. I'm guessing.
I get it free. I ain't paying $7 for a game I can play for free. Thank you.
Oh, I thought this was only free on premium.
Which I have.
Yo, you do pay for premium.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you had it. Didn't know you had it. Yeah, no. It's,
There's enough good PS5 games in the catalog that I can justify the cost.
So I guess I'll do my game of the week now, and we'll break into some PS5 discussion before ending the show. Phantom Menace discussion. I like this game because at the time, it's the most, in my opinion, the most hands-on you can be with a Jedi character in a game. At that time, there's no Jedi Knight Outcast, there's no power battles, there's no Obi-Wan, Knights of the Old Republic, none of it. So for me, getting to play this game, and when the Phantom Menace came out, I was a pretty big fan of it. I was over the moon playing this game. I think the only thing I was bummed out about is this game doesn't really feature any pod racing aspect to it at all. So, that sucked. But I really enjoyed this game for shits and giggles. One of the first things I did was go and play the Duel of Fates exclusive music video that comes with the game. Came with the hard disk for the game too. And boy, is the quality garbage, which I had to laugh about. But I thoroughly enjoyed this game. I'm enjoying playing through it again. I don't think the camera angle thing bothered me too much way back when, because it just, that's the way
You
it
didn't
was.
know any better.
Right? But now it just, oh man, it kills me. It's like, I feel like I'm playing Resident Evil 1 or 2, the original ones. I'm just like, I hate not being able to see certain things. So, any of you guys have any thoughts or memories about this game? I'm pretty sure you tried this game at my house a couple of times, Johnny, but I don't know if it was for very long. We usually play co-op
I
on
don't
shit.
really remember playing it very much at the time because, like we said, I was a Nintendo guy until I didn't get a PlayStation until 2000. SmackDown 2 came out when I got a PlayStation. So, it was still a couple years away at this point for me. So most of the PlayStation I got to play was at your place. So I don't remember this game very much at all. It didn't help that the movie was ass. So I never really had, for me, the movie was ass. So I never really had much reason to go back and play it. So I never did. So I don't think I've ever beaten it. I legitimately don't think I've ever played more than like an hour of it. So I have no memories of it. I probably watched more of you playing it on, was it Friday night, Thursday night? Than I played it myself.
I don't remember when it was I played it now. So,
The end of last week.
And again, shout out to the people that joined me on that. There were some new people on the channel that I'd never seen before. So, that were talking all the way through that stream. So hopefully to check out some of our other content we have going on here too. How about you, Randy? You want to share any memories you have of this game before we I ask you guys a couple Phantom Menace questions?
So I remember playing this literally. It's one of those games that I think I asked for Christmas. So once I got it, I played it a lot. I played through it. I'd start over, play through it again. Like I did multiple playthroughs, and actually had beaten it. I think I remember you talking about the Captain Panaka stage not being very kind to you. I'd have to go back and replay the game again just to kind of get an idea. But yeah, it was at the time. I mean, I loved the Phantom Menace when it first came out. So for me to be able to try to relive it as best as a video game can tell, because we all know video game adaptations don't tend to be very faithful. So it was just a fun game at the time, minus the hot garbage camera. But you're right. It was one of the very first times you could really utilize certain Jedi Force abilities that you really weren't able to just yet in most games. Obviously, now, if you haven't played, like Jedi Fallen Order or Survivor or Force Unleashed or anything like that, Battlefront, that's on you, because just the amount of Force abilities are now is ridiculous compared to what they actually did have back in the Phantom Menace game. But yeah, it was a fun time killer. I liked the story. The voice acting was a little bit left to be desired, but that's how it was back then in early PS1 era, essentially. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I went to grab my phone instead of the mic. Yeah, the voice acting there. Oh, good God. Sitting there listening to it the other night as I'm playing, going, oof, this is really bad. And then, oh man, fucking Jar Jar at times on the Naboo levels, he gets away from you and he's almost like, aha, come meet me up here. It's like, and you can't find your way up. And like, I won't lie, I think I died once because I killed Jar Jar and then died again because Jar Jar died and I wasn't too quick to save him.
And somehow I got blamed for that.
So, yeah. So he was watching.
Well, you also sent me messages at midnight.
Oh,
Yes, you did.
I don't remember much of it, but it was fun. Looking forward to doing it again. I thought about doing it tonight. I don't know if I will or not. I'm pretty tired. Yeah. Well, I guess we can move on from there. Let me ask you guys this: the Phantom Menace had so many video games come out from it. It had a rich catalog of video games. I'm going to try to pull it up here in a second, but thinking back to Phantom Menace based video games, like for me, this was my Phantom Menace game. This is the one that I sunk a ton of time and hours into. Obviously, Randy, I know you played this too, but would you say it's the Phantom Menace related video game you played most, or is there one that you played more than this one? And then Johnny, you can follow him up.
That's a good question. Thinking about it, I played my fair share of Pod Racer, but I don't think maybe. I know I played a fair amount of Jedi Power Battles, but I don't know if you could really count that as the Phantom Menace. So yeah, I mean, I definitely would say this. I probably played that one the most, and then if you wanted to go into it after that, it's probably Racer, and then yeah, those were the two big ones I know I played a lot of.
Well, there you have it. There's a list of the various Star Wars, the Phantom Menace related video games, which is mad.
Let's see. Yeah, I think I played just about every single one of those. Okay, so they do consider Jedi Power Battle. So yeah, then I say I played that the most out of all of them.
Oof. I like the idea of co-op, but I hated the way that game played. And by the way, this is unrelated to Star Wars, but let me take a moment. When you release a game digitally online, okay, and then you take it away from people because the rights run out, how dare you? I wanted to let my little guy play the Power Rangers side scroller that came out back in 2017. Guess what? No way to get the game anymore, period.
Really?
Yeah. So thank you very much. I'm guessing we have Saban to thank for that. So I believe it was a Saban game too. I could be wrong. But yeah, I found that out today. That sucked the big one. I really wanted him to play that. Although I couldn't fucking beat it, so I don't know how a 4-year-old's gonna help me beat it. So, although my 15-year-old would like to play it too. I think he played it a little bit way back when. Yeah, I think I've played every single one of these games. I don't really consider Star Wars Bounty Hunter a Phantom Menace related game, despite when it's set. We all know Bounty Hunter was a game that was spawned from Attack of the Clones. So I don't. If that's the same Bounty Hunter, right? The Jango Fett cover. Yeah,
Yeah, it's Jango Fett.
yeah, it's an Attack of the Clones game. It's not fucking Phantom Menace. Yeah, to me, it's the PS1 game, the PS1 Star Wars video game, Phantom Menace. Johnny, how about you? Any of these? I know you had Racer at your house for a while.
Yeah. That one was not mine. That was one of my neighbors. That's probably the one I played the most because, like I said, I was a Nintendo kid. That was the Nintendo game. That was the only one of those, I think, on this entire list that was on the N64 was
Battle for Naboo, I believe, was as well, but I don't think it came out right away for the 64.
No, but that was a fun game.
It was 2000 for the N64. So, I mean, yeah, I don't. It would probably be Episode 1 Race because my brother loved that game. He was a huge fan of it. I think as far as games that include the Episode 1 time frame, probably none of the official ones on this list, ones that I'd call Episode 1 games or Episode 1 parts, is probably the Lego games because they've all done the movies and all the stories. So that's the most Episode 1 gaming stuff I've done. It's probably that. But of these, I guess it'd probably be Racer.
Travis says the worst for him was the Death Star level in Battlefront 2, where you lose half your men in the first 30 seconds. Which Battlefront 2? I honestly don't remember. I'm trying to remember if there was a Death Star level in the.
There is one. There is one in the newer one.
I'm pretty sure there was one in the old one too.
That wouldn't surprise me.
I'll never understand why we don't do the Episode 4 trench battle more in video games nowadays. Like, did any of the new ones have it at all?
Not that I can remember.
Yeah. Did any of the new ones even have the Return of the Jedi one? Like, those are for me, my money, the two most iconic space battles that there are.
I don't even think has anyone ever done the
Rogue Leader. Rogue Leader, Second Row Squadron game. You fly right through it. It's awesome.
I wish I'd played that one then. For me, the last time I remember playing for those were Super Return of the Jedi and Super Star Wars. That's SNES back in the day. That's the last I remember of it. Of course, I loved the Star Wars arcade game with the vector graphics and all that stuff back in the day too. That was my go-to at a bowling alley. I sunk so many quarters into that.
Travis says
cabinets don't count. They were always so much better.
Travis says the 2005 Battlefront 2. Travis, I don't know if you're a wrestling fan, but I'm going to take a second to plug this now. Tomorrow night on the channel, we're going to talk about the ridiculous news day that was today in the world of wrestling. And not just, you know what? Let me rephrase that. It's not just the ridiculous news day in the world of wrestling. It's the ridiculous news day in the entire Hollywood, industry, media rights industry. You have people that never cover wrestling covering this deal. John Campia is covering this deal today.
It's a huge deal.
So, for sure. I mean, I've seen a couple people downplaying. I just sort of shake my head. I like it for WWE. I like what it probably means for AEW. I think at the end of the day, the best thing happened. And we'll talk so much about it tomorrow. But we're also tomorrow on the show, at least I think, anyways, I better test the wheel tonight, is we're going to do a Royal Rumble prediction show. And I'm going to steal a little bit of a game that I believe Johnny's football pool does each year. And what we're going to do is we're going to have our hosts come on, those that are available tomorrow night. And we're going to draw three numbers from the wheel. That number that you get assigned to you on your wheel, whatever superstar comes out of the number will be who you are. Again, this is just for the hosts, but it could be fun for you guys to watch along. And if anybody gets the guy who wins the Rumble, they're going to get a gift card. So whether they choose to keep it, give it away, that's up to them. But be an Amazon gift card. I hope it's a Canadian that wins so that I don't have to buy a different one, but I will if I have to. So, Johnny, get it right, damn it. Anyways, that's tomorrow night.
You're picking numbers off a wheel. How am I supposed to get it right?
Find a way, work your voodoo. The Royal Rumble prediction show. And actually, you know what? I don't think that's the up-to-date thumbnail for tomorrow's show. That's not. I didn't upload the up-to-date one. There we go. That is the updated thumbnail for tomorrow, which makes a little more sense. So yeah, there you have it. The WWE Netflix deal and the Royal Rumble prediction / game show tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern. I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to play the Phantom Menace tonight because I'm tired of shit. But since we don't start tomorrow's show till 10 p.m., I'm probably going to get on the Phantom Menace from about 9 till 10 while you guys watch the back hour of Dynamite, if that's what you're doing. So, anybody have any like specific Phantom Menace thought they want to share? We're going to be talking about Phantom Menace thoughts all throughout this year, probably just because there's so many of them.
I mean,
And we went a little long on Bad Batch.
I think most of the things I have to say will things we talk about when we get to the watch along in, a month and a half or so.
I think for me, it's just, it's that first experience of what a Jedi was supposed to be. And I think that's what made it the most exciting thing for me to go into theater and see exactly what Lucas had intended a Jedi to be. So, and I'm excited to watch it again with you guys, just to kind of get that whole experience.
I'll share this Phantom Menace story with you. I've shared my Empire story with you guys last week, and Johnny's heard it a bunch of times about how I had Vader as Luke's dad spoiled for me. So I will share this story with you from my childhood. My father tells me that there's going to be 3 new Star Wars movies, and I'm over the fucking moon about it. Okay. So first up is I get told, I got told there was 1 new Star Wars movie. And I was told that it was going to be Shadows of the Empire, which made sense considering what was out and about. And, they basically had a movie type, marketing thing going on without the movie. All other aspects as if there was a movie existed. But it wasn't that. So that was a bit of a bummer because I was really excited about the possibility of that. And then I got told, no, they're actually doing a prequel. They're going to go tell the adventures of young Luke Skywalker. And again, being we didn't have very much Star Wars content back then, I was over the moon because I loved Luke Skywalker. To randomly walk in a variety store one day that was in between where Johnny and I lived as kids, to have the person working behind the desk counter my dad and say, no, it's not Luke Skywalker. It's Anakin Skywalker. And I'm just like, wait, what? Wait, Darth Vader? Nobody wants to see a movie about young Darth Vader. And for like weeks, I was just so pissed and so upset because my dad for like a month was hyping up something that was never going to be. But boy, let me tell you, they made the right decision, in my opinion.
I don't know. I think you were right about 2 of the 3 movies. I'm just saying.
Anyway, unless anybody else, anything else, Johnny, I think you can take us home for the night, man.
No, I think that that has about covered it.
Do we want to pick our game for next week?
Who's up?
Thank you, Randy. Do you want to take over hosting too?
Well, I mean, if you really need me to, I think it's actually my turn. That's why I jumped on it.
I was about to say.
So I'm gonna actually go with Jedi Starfighter.
All right. Well, you have it.
The Attack of the Clones based one, I believe, has Windu kind of on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fun story about that game, Randy. I owned it, and I played it twice. So you
played it twice?
Yeah. If you want to know why, it was one of those, your disc will not read. Your disc will not read.
You had the DRE on that?
Uh-huh.
Uh,
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Legacy of Star Wars podcast, brought to you by Fandom Empire. We didn't have much of the news to talk about, but we did talk about the Bad Batch trailer that dropped yesterday. Did a little bit of the Phantom Menace, and of course, the game of the week this week was the Phantom Menace. Next week, who knows what next week holds? Next week knows what next week holds. Maybe we'll have another slow news day. Maybe we won't. We'll see and decide what we're going to do next week. Other than, of course, Randy's choice of Jedi Starfighter for next week's game of the week. And next week will be my choice again. So, for the
How many times can Johnny say next week in 30 seconds go?
But you're supposed to just keep the count and not tell me, and then, just be like the over under. So, on next week's episode, we will talk about whatever next week brings, because next week is another week, and we'll see what next week brings next week. Don't challenge me like that. I will make it, and I will say next week as many times as I can say next week, as much as I can before we get to next week's episode. So, on behalf of the hosts here, for Randy, for Sean, for Tommy B, who joined us earlier to talk the Bad Batch, if you enjoyed the show, make sure you click the like button, subscribe, click the thumb bell, all that stuff. Leave a comment, help us defeat the evil algorithm. Check out the other stuff on the channel tonight in Haddonfield, Monday nights. Sean randomly popping up with episode 1, PS1 on PS5 streams. Who knows when? And of course, welcome to the Geek Side, Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. or 10:10 or whenever we go live after Dynamite's over. And of course, you can head over to Patreon, patreon.com/Fandom Empire, where you can contribute to the channel on whatever level you feel comfortable doing. None is also an option.
So is $1 billion.
Yay.
Just throwing it out there. I mean, hey, we're going to say none's an option. Let's be real here. So is $1 billion. Or 5. Maybe we'll go buy the rights to some show. Have it air on Fandom Empire.
So on behalf of all of us here at Fandom Empire, we say night-night from Naboo, and may the Force be with you all.
See you next week.